Perfect.
And you say can and will be used against you?
Yeah, well, really, it's only going to be used against you if you don't like the subject of this particular conversation. And the subject of this particular conversation, ladies and gentlemen, are two, I don't even know how to describe them without calling them, by their names. The new DuckTales, the newest DuckTales, the newest incarnation of the Tales of the Duck family, and Animaniacs.
And if you don't like those, why are you here?
We don't want anyone to die not enjoying these, all right? Especially if we think that it's something that is enjoyable and worth your time. And personally, I didn't watch the first incarnation of DuckTales. This is my first real. I'm old. I'm older than you two, so like it was far removed from my childhood. My childhood. When you guys were watching DuckTales, at that point, I was watching like G.I. Joe. So our frame of reference is going to be a little bit different. So my DuckTales now is as a grown man watching it with my children. And they grew up on DuckTales. And so this is, for them, this is a continuation of the story. But please, gentlemen, tell me about your DuckTales experience from youth until now.
See, I have a vivid memory of DuckTales, the movie, The Treasure of the Lost Lamp. And it's very vivid because at the house that I watched it at, I was getting out of the van as my sister closed the door on my finger. And then my mom's fighting with the handle to get it to open up. Well, I'm just turning different shades of whiter shades of pale. And so, yeah, that's the movie that I watched as I was recovering with these huge gash and flesh wrenched back from.
Pretty sure I saw bone.
But
so DuckTales was part of your healing process.
It's part of the healing process.
Yes.
And grown up watching Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Grew up watching a lot of cartoons. Dad, Tuesday nights. Were usually a Godzilla movie or Rodan, one of the old Universal Monster movies, or he'd watch cartoons. We watched a ton of Looney Tunes. And then, of course, we'd watch a lot of the Disney cartoons. Mom loved Pluto, so we'd get collections that had Pluto and stuff. And then that branched out into Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, which branched out into the DuckTales. One of my favorites was when they do an interpretation of Sherlock Holmes, The Hounds of the Baskerville. Just remembering, just feeling how intense that felt. And it was a cartoon, but the intensity of what was going on just gripped me. And I think it had a very profound impact on the types of movies and films that I seek out. I love being gripped, just totally engrossed in the story and caring about these characters who aren't even, realistic. They're anthropomorphized ducks, but you could just get lost in that and be part of that universe and part of that world. And then Blue. Where is the
Eiffel 65? They're
no. Shoot. Blue's a pilot, flies for hire. Tailspin. Tailspin.
Oh my god.
That was another one. There's all these cartoons that Disney kept coming out with. And so.
Now, is that Jungle Book Baloo?
Yes.
How did
Baloo is in it?
How did Jungle Book Baloo evolve from hanging out?
There's a really good episode of Robot Chicken that explains it. He's in the witness protection program. So they give him a new identity as a pilot, and you got to go watch Robot Chicken. Shout out.
So now I'm gonna have to put that in the notes right now as we speak, because that is something that I'd like to see. And if it's the witness protection program, then why not look into it? So Jace, tell me a little bit about yours.
Oh crap, I gotta follow all that. I used to have the VHS. It only had 2. So growing up, I was a little bit more limited. It wasn't actually until a couple years ago that I started watching more of the original DuckTales. But I do remember growing up always going to the library and seeking out other VHSs with other episodes of DuckTales and Darkwing Duck. And
Let's get dangerous.
yes. And that made it
Have you seen the episode with Darkwing Duck?
No, I have not.
Okay. It's it's to be treasured. Yeah, like Jay says, there's a couple new ones.
Hey.
Howdy. Howdy. We're gonna get to Fat Man in a few minutes. Right now, we're talking about the newest incarnation of DuckTales, as well as Animaniacs, because Hulu has the new Animaniacs.
Oh, okay.
So Jace was
Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah.
Well, we
brain.
Let's dive right into it. Do you guys would you guys recommend that Jake spend an hour and watch a couple episodes of the newest DuckTales incarnation on Disney Plus?
No,
I don't
would
know
recommend
about
24 hours.
Yeah, I don't know about recommend
Straight.
so much as threaten.
I
Depends on this.
Go
here's
Why?
orange on you and hold your eyelids open.
But why? Explain why it is so good using your extensive vocabulations.
So if you grew up watching the various Disney animated offerings, DuckTales, Rescue Rangers, Tailspin,
I grew up watching that. I grew up making Nike shoes in China, like in a sweat factory.
nice.
Good times.
Dude, we got to hear more of your stories here.
No, like we would honestly, it was like, we would tell each other the stories of like from the people in America that actually got to see the show. Like we would share the stories and we'd put our own spins on them. So by the time it got to me, it was about how like like one Animaniac had decided that the socialism was a great idea.
That's not far off from the original episode either. To be honest, Yakko and his worldview.
Yeah.
So, but we're agreed. Take the time to watch the new new DuckTales. But moving on to Animaniacs, because I think that's something that we can all agree was a great part of our childhood. Jake,
I had a job.
have you seen any of the new Animaniacs?
I have not seen any of the new Animaniacs. There's it's like I feel like if I try the new Animaniacs, it's gonna be like that moment you tried new Coke. Like,
Know exactly what you mean.
But it's not exactly that.
yeah, but
So hear me out on this, because I was concerned just as much as you were about how this was going to turn out. But it's the same way that like the off Star Wars canon, like the Solo movies and the Rogue One movies, are better than the actual new Skywalker canon. They're better than those new stories because those movies and those stories are being made by people who love the original stories. And that part of what makes this new Animaniacs work is that it feels like everyone who was involved with it was involved with love. The Warner Brothers and the Warner sister Dot aren't going to age like the rest of us. They're these very same characters from the 90s who have been transplanted into 2020.
Have a really good song about it.
well, this is kind of my thing. Like, you go to Las Vegas and it's your last $10. You can use that as cab fare to get to the airport so you can go home, or like you can throw it in a slot machine and maybe it's your lucky day. But after you've been burned by everything else Vegas has done, like it's a very hard commitment. And this goes back to like the New Coke argument. It's like once we've been burned by New Coke, like it's like every time someone tries to like reboot something, there's so much apprehension behind like because of those moments, like it almost stains the original. So like to delve into something as important as like Bill said, as important in our childhood, like, you know, back before we could just record it or watch it whenever we wanted to, but back when we had to like set an alarm clock and like we're gonna sit down as a family around the TV at that time. Yeah, like it's I appreciate it, but like are some shows sacred?
One of the things me and Jacob were talking about when we were watching the new Animaniacs, and I mean, it is a reboot. It's called a reboot and everything, but we were watching it and we both like looked at each other at one point and we were like, this is not a reboot. This is a continuation right off the original. This it doesn't really revamp anything. It just takes the entire substance of the original and it just continues that off the bat. Nothing has changed about these characters or the style or the humor or anything that you adored about it. It's just now in 2020.
Continuous absurdity.
Very much. Dadaism.
Wherever there is stupidity, they will be there.
They have an amazing episode that features a Trump ogre.
Oh my God.
And Odysseus is a college frat boy. And it's just, yeah.
Magic and so disgusting at the same time.
Yeah, is it made for kids? Like, is it made for teenagers? Who is this made for?
Not any more so than the original. The Warner Brothers did cartoons for kids, but for the adults too. Looney Tunes, that was cartoons that kids could enjoy, but were for adults.
The Bill brings up a good point. Like, are they targeting like the next generation, or are they targeting us for the nostalgia?
Ooh, both.
I think it's both.
It's like a perfect balance. It's a love letter to everybody that grew up with it, but
yeah, it's like they kept the formula for the original, and there's lots that kids are going to enjoy about it and stuff. But there's the political satire that the original had to, that went over so many kids' heads and appealed more to the adults.
Nothing from the original
Bill's got
has
a finger.
Sorry.
No, all good, all good. My question goes back then to DuckTales. Is this sort of the same thing with DuckTales?
DuckTales is a reboot.
It is a reboot. Yes.
Okay, so
DuckTales combines Darkwing Duck and all the others. They talk about going to Cape Suzette, where Blue. They don't mention Blue or Hire for Hire, but they talk about Cape Suzette.
There's cameos from the Rescue Rangers. It is Disney
cameos from the Goofy
Saturday
movie.
morning cartoon expanded universe.
I just wanted to throw in just clarification. Is they mentioned Bill had a finger. Bill has 10 fingers.
No,
not always visible at all times.
We didn't mean to.
I saw just
those.
the one.
We didn't mean to discount.
Yeah, like I just
recognize
wanted to specify that
your other 9 fingers.
They are equally as important.
Oh, that reminds me of the live album for Social.
They're stubby.
Live at the Roxy.
Terrible piano player.
It's not because of your fingers.
I don't know. Like you look at not Groucho Marx.
Harpo.
No, not Harpo. Chico. Who was able to play the piano with a ball.
Just so the audience knows, like 3 out of 4 of us are broadcasting from our bedroom. There's one guy that's snobbish enough to have like a garage set up with a green screen. And not even use it.
Yeah, no.
I guess like there's no background.
Fine.
Dude, you need to go and take a picture of your bedroom now and then use that as your background.
Yeah, you know, but what a dick move to be like, yeah, I got this green screen behind me. I don't use it.
Yeah. It's just a display of my wealth.
Yeah, I just want people to know I have it.
Oh shit.
It looks.
Oh, dude, now we got to talk conspiracy theories because, like,
Oh no.
The cartoons, enjoy them, bro.
Yeah, don't take it too seriously. They're cartoons.
Yeah.
They're not
They're amazing.
documentaries. Filmed in real
Glom
time.
Gold is absolutely amazing. He's like my favorite villain besides the Monarch from Venture Brothers.
As far as revamping an old property,
Oh, the Monarch.
we doing it right as a
I
love
looked in
The
letter.
Monarch was
It was
brilliant.
horrible.
Oh my God, Adult Swim was the greatest thing in the world. But
It was. Ah,
sorry. Anyway, Bill, you
No,
had
no, no,
something
no,
you-
no, 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 no. You guys
R.I.P.
having a moment to
The
recollect?
Monarch.
Give us the give us the cuttlefish.
Like, I love the
Be
idea
the
of
father
like
those
a,
boys never had.
I love the idea of a
Creepy
villain that
uncle
really
on
has
us.
really has no goal other than just winning,
Yeah.
like just vengeance. You know,
Yes.
like he's already got a shit ton of wealth, right? Like, so he's not like I need $100 trillion or to rule countries and world. No, it's just like to get Team Venture.
Yeah. He leaves them on upper decker.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like a college joke that went on too long.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Which isn't that where the rivalry started?
Yeah, isn't that exactly where? Yeah.
College, where Victor or not Doom lost his jaw.
Von Doom.
Oh,
we'll go Team Venture.
Animaniacs, or as far as Ducktales go, though.
I gotta show you this big giant book though.
Oh, go Team Venture. Oh my God.
Friggin'
I didn't know it was a thing.
art
I mean, I
book.
knew it was. Yeah.
Goes through each of the episodes, scripts, and all that stuff.
My gosh. Like,
Thank you.
so, like when someone calls you a nerd, like you have to be like, no, you don't understand. Let me show you this.
Yeah,
Like-
I've done that. Like, oh, you're such a geek. I'm like, no, I'm not a geek.
Are you ready for this conversation?